There you go. Awesome. It's great to see everyone today. My name is Wanda Allen Abraha. I'm the director of the Human Relations Department with the City of Winston-Salem. So we are right over here at City Hall, and we're very excited to be hosting you here today at the city's annual International Village Food and Music Cultural Festival. If you will notice, we are being video recorded by our very esteemed Marketing and Communications Department. I want to give marketing a shout out because they are working hard, taking pictures, doing videos. And so if you see the cameras, just know that we will be using footage on Facebook, on Twitter, and also on WSTV 13, which is the local government channel. So let's give marketing a round of applause. Also, we are very happy to have on our staff Miss Jamie Waldeck. A lot of you here, vendors and otherwise, have been working very closely with Jamie. She's been our point person all along, and she's been the person running around this park today. And Jamie is over here on my left. Jamie, can you please wave? Thank you for all of your hard work with International Village. Jamie, wave. And lastly, I want to also thank USCIS for partnering with us for this wonderful and beautiful ceremony. I just want you all to know we're delighted that you have agreed to come to Winston-Salem here at our festival to be sworn in as brand new United States citizens. Very happy for you. My husband went through this process a number of years ago, and we were so thrilled to have the opportunity to go through the process. So congratulations today. I wanted to be the first to congratulate you. And now we're going to move along on the program, and I'm going to introduce to you Mr. Dan Knutson. Dan has been our partner with the city for a number of years now for all things USCIS related. He is a wonderful person to know, and he's a pleasure to work with. So he represents District 8 Community Relations out of the Charlotte Field Office for USCIS. And without further ado, Mr. Dan Knutson. Dan?
Thank you, Wanda. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out today. We realize it's a little bit warm, but it sure beats what we were going through last weekend, right? So we're going to try and make this as comfortable for you as possible. I guarantee you it will not last an hour and a half. So we'll get through this as quickly as we can. So ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like everyone to please stand. We're going to have the colors presented by the Carver High School Junior ROTC. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem by Ms. Gail Kettler.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh,
Thank you, Gail. That was exceptionally wonderful. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce two young individuals who are going to lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance. Before we begin that, I'd like to give a good shout out to our BB&T, is one of the big sponsors here for today. Thank you so much for your support. I'd like to introduce Adolfo Briseño Jr. from Cub Scout Pack 730 and Daniel Gerblich, an Eagle Scout from Troop 911, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Gentlemen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Beautiful, beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Again, I'd like to thank the color guard for the Carver High School Junior ROTC. Thank you very much. At this time, we would like to present the candidates for naturalization. We have 37 candidates from 21 countries from around the world that have decided that they wanted to make America their home. Let me be the second one to congratulate you. I know Wanda was the first, but congratulations on your journey coming today. May this be a fulfillment that you will long remember. As I read your country of origin, I ask that you as a candidate please stand to be recognized and remain standing until all the countries have been notified and called. Those in our audience, we encourage you to contribute clapping to encourage these folks on their journey. We thank you so much. In alphabetical order, Cambodia, Costa Rica, Cuba, El Salvador, Guatemala, India, Indonesia, Kenya, Laos, Liberia, Mexico, Morocco, Nigeria, Pakistan, Panama, Philippines, Romania, Russia, the Sudan, United Kingdom, and last but certainly not least, Vietnam. At this time, all our candidates should be standing, correct? Very good. It is my pleasure to introduce to you our Senior Immigration Services Officer, Carly Dugaszewski, who is going to administer the oath of allegiance for you this afternoon.
Good afternoon. I will now be administering the oath of allegiance. The oath of allegiance is found on the inside of your ceremony program on page 2. For those of you naturalizing today, I ask that you remain standing, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. Is everybody ready? I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by the law, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations, you are our newest citizens. Everyone please give them a big round of applause. Thank you. You guys may be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce Sylvia Durant, Human Relations Commission Chairperson.
Good afternoon. Let me also offer my congratulations to you. I hope that this is a day of celebration with your families and your community. It is my great pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Louis Lobo, who is Executive Vice President and President of Multicultural Markets at BB&T, which is our premier sponsor for today's event. Mr. Lobo was named to the Order of the Longleaf Pine in 2018 for his significant lifetime contributions to immigrant and diverse communities in North Carolina. Since 1963, North Carolina's governors have reserved their highest honor, the Order of the Longleaf Pine Award, for persons with exemplary service and accomplishments within the state and to their communities. In addition, Mr. Lobo was the recipient of the Ellis Island Medal of Honor in 2015 and the Americanism Medal from the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution in 2014. A native of Costa Rica who was raised in Lincolnton, North Carolina, Mr. Lobo received a BA in Economics and Business Administration from Belmont Abbey College, an MBA from Campbell University, and an honors degree from the Stonier Graduate School of Banking at the University of Delaware. Mr. Lobo has been featured on NPR's Marketplace and published in national media. His first book, It's Your Attitude, was published in 2004. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce you to Mr. Lobo.
Buenas tardes. Good afternoon, everyone. I wish to congratulate each of you and your families on achieving a goal many people desire across the globe: to become an American citizen. Today is a demarcation point in time for yourself and for your family, one that will be remembered by your grandchildren and great-grandchildren. On this day, you changed reality for yourself and for many others. The United States of America is the freest country conceived by the human mind. Our freedom documents, including declaring our independence from the British Empire, noting that all people are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The Bill of Rights, in its notable First Amendment, which prohibits the making of any law respecting an establishment of religion, abridging the freedom of speech, infringing on the freedom of the press, interfering with the right to peaceably assemble like we are here today, or prohibiting the petitioning for a governmental redress of grievances. The United States Constitution, as the supreme law of the land, opens with, "We the people, not me the king, or I the supreme leader." These freedom documents, from a unique experiment drafted 242 years ago on July 4th, 1776, have become a beacon of hope for people from across the globe, people just like you. I'm the child of immigrants from Costa Rica in Central America, and myself a naturalized citizen. My children were born in the United States because of the courage of my mother and father to leave the comforts of their ancestral home. They were not fleeing religious persecution, governmental tyranny, or racism, as some immigrants often do. What they wished to accomplish was to provide for their children, like yourself, a country where an individual can, through sheer effort, improve themselves and change reality for generations to come. We are a constitutional democracy that over its existence survived invasion by the British Empire in 1812, waged the bloody Civil War in the 1860s that decided what that Constitution declared, that all men and women were created equal, and freed bound African slaves, even as civil rights were not granted for another 100 years. The United States of America in 1918 defeated aggression by European monarchies during the First World War, and in 1945 saved the world from fascism and genocide during the Second World War. The world became freer in the last 100 years because of the United States of America. The Pax Americana established the most powerful economic and military power in the history of humankind. We, all of us, are a nation of immigrants. First settled by the Dutch in New Amsterdam, present-day Manhattan, New York, then colonized by the British, North Carolina, before the American Revolution, was settled in the East by Scott and Irish, and in the West, notably in nearby Salem, right across from here, by Germans fleeing religious oppression. In the 1880s, Italians, Poles, Eastern European Jews, Chinese, and Russians entered through Ellis Island in New York Harbor. More recently, Mexicans and Central Americans entered through our southern border, then followed by people from the subcontinent of India and Pakistan. All were trying to accomplish the same goal: to become free people living in a free society. No nation or empire in antiquity has produced the economic, military, or educational achievements of this great country. Yet the American dream is still a dream and not a reality for some, because of lack of education, poverty, and racism. These problems can be solved, but not by demagogues that try to divide us, but by people of goodwill, which are the vast majority of people known around the world as Americans. We have made great progress, but have much work to do. We need you, the new Americans, to do your part. As a citizen, your most significant right is to vote, and do not let anyone deter you from it. It is the right to choose our leaders that makes our republic the envy of all other nations. So what makes a great American citizen? An American citizen must be part of his or her community by being active in organizations that help others, such as the United Way, community action groups, such as the Hispanic League here in Winston-Salem, your temple or church, and involved in their children's schools. What makes a great American is to serve their country if called upon by our military or civilian assistant corps. A great American obeys the laws of our cities, states, and nation. A great American is a good neighbor to others who may look different, speak a different language, and observe a different faith, or none at all. I am certain that each of you will become an engaged and productive American. Time stands still for no one. Now I will ask you to think about how you will be remembered by friends and family after your days on this earth are over. I've been very fortunate to work in the banking industry for over 35 years. The reason I chose my career was due to the example of a man, a banker, by the name of Robert Rudisill, president of First National Bank in Lincolnton, North Carolina, where my parents settled in the late 1960s. Mr. Rudisill made it his business to know his community, and upon learning of my father, he sought him out. Again, how will you be remembered? It was not an accident that within 24 months of Mr. Rudisill meeting my father, that my parents accomplished the American dream of owning their own home. Mr. Rudisill taught my father how to save the down payment, how to establish credit, and explained to him which attorneys and others to meet with and build relationships. One day, as a very young boy, on a visit to the bank with my parents, I witnessed the deep and abiding respect Mr. Rudisill had for my mother and father. When he stepped out of the office for a few minutes, my mother turned to me and said, "One day you can be like him." In time, my father, Gerardo Lowell, the founder of the Latino community in Lincoln County, North Carolina, referred hundreds of Costa Ricans and other immigrants to Mr. Rudisill and his bank. Robert Rudisill has been passed away for 25 years, and I'm still talking about him. How will you be remembered? I wish to end my remarks by reading to you a favorite poem by the great American poet Robert Frost, published in 1916. It is called "The Road Not Taken." Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, and leaves no step has trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on the way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Thank you for embarking on this road less traveled by, and that takes courage. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Lobo. I'd now like to read a message to you from the USCIS Director to our new citizens. My fellow American citizens, on behalf of the dedicated men and women of the Department of Homeland Security's U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, I want to congratulate you on becoming citizens of our great nation today. As Americans, we are united not by background, race, or religion, but rather by our own common citizenship, which is based on the democratic ideals, equality, and individual rights, and shared responsibilities. Upon taking the oath of allegiance, you have joined a long legacy of Americans who have contributed to the vibrancy and success of this country. As you are now part of this special legacy, I encourage you to use your talents and skills each day to build a better, stronger, and brighter America for all here today and for all the future generations to come. Along with all the rights you now have comes the responsibilities of citizenship. It is now your duty to make positive contributions to your community and to the nation. The United States welcomes you, and as fully vested members of this great nation, may you chart a successful path as our newest citizens. Louis Francis Cisna, Director. At this time, I'd like to play an audio welcome and congratulatory message from the President of the United States.
It is with great pride that I welcome you into the American family. No matter where you come from or what faith you practice, this country is now your country. Our history is now your history, and our traditions are now your traditions. You enjoy the full rights and the sacred duties that come with American citizenship. Very, very special. There is no higher honor, there is no greater responsibility. You now share the obligation to teach our values to others, to help newcomers assimilate to our way of life, and uplift America by living according to its highest ideals of self-governance and its highest standards. All Americans are your brothers and sisters, and each of us must do our part to keep America safe, strong, and free. America is our home. We have no other. You have pledged allegiance to America, and when you give your love and loyalty to America, she returns her love and loyalty to you. We share one American heart and one American destiny. It is a destiny filled with love, opportunity, and hope. We celebrate this day. We welcome you into our national family. We applaud your devotion to America, and we embrace the wonderful future we will have together. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Well, and now comes the time we've all been waiting for, the presentation of our certificates.
Harshilaben Patel. Fabiola Tumbelaka. Claudia Juarez. Pushpa Gupta. Claudia Lopez Moreno. Neftali Salazar Serrano. Ramel Dizan Agamata. Deborah Katulu Maingi. Eduardo Pulido Castellanos. Zareen Naim. Jennifer Miranda Melgar. Hajar Zuiti. Norma Stevenson Wilson. Jane Danner. Nai Hin. Namratha Cherakuri. Maria Choate Duke. Juan Antonio Fernandez. Anna Margarita Batista. Michelle Montanez Cachao. Elena Sticia. Kiati Sutaria. Congratulations.
Oh, here you go. Here you go. Excuse me. We're gonna send you around that way, okay? There you go. You're welcome. Congratulations.
Aida Catalina Hernandez. Anand Vijayakumar. Lakshmi Shrikumari. Elena Platonova. Eduardo Garcia. Shama Abdelkarim Mohammed Baket. Salwa Abdelkarim Mohammed Tugal. Samia Abdelkarim Mohammed Tukal. Mohammed Abdelkarim Mohammed Togol. Stephen Onidibi. Stephanie Ferguson. Cy Thor. Allison Turner.
We want to congratulate again all of our new U.S. citizens. Thank you so much. I also want to thank all our families and friends, because you know what? Their journey isn't just them. It can only be supported by you as well. And I thank you and I applaud you for being here and for being with them throughout this entire journey. Thank you so much. And like Mr. Lobo said, you have a big future ahead of you, and you have established something that is going to go beyond your current generation. There's a gentleman by the name of Tony Dungy. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's a play-by-play analyst now, I guess, with one of the football networks. But back in 2007, he wrote a book called Quiet Strength, and he had a quote in there that I like to present to these ceremonies. And what he says, Tony says, it's all about the journey, mine and yours, and the lives we can touch, the legacy we can leave, and the world we can change for the better. To our new U.S. citizens, you have no idea the legacy that you have now established for your family for generations to come, and I applaud you. I want to thank again the City of Winston-Salem for allowing us to be here today, for BB&T for the sponsorship. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the festivities today, and let me pass it back to Wanda.
Thank you, Dan. Let's give Dan and USCIS a round of applause. Thank you, Carly. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everyone from USCIS. And as you've heard, BB&T is our premier sponsor for International Village today, which includes this ceremony. So, on behalf of the City of Winston-Salem, I wanted to give Mr. Louis Lobo a small token of our appreciation for the sponsorship and for his personal support, not only for International Village, but for the ceremony that we just had as our keynote speaker. Thank you, Mr. Lobo.
Thank you so much. That's it.
Okay, so USCIS tells me that's it. So we are going to now transition from the ceremony to the festival and music and fun. Enjoy, hang out with us. Thank you.